Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to our virtual session of week 11 of course titled Introduction to Databases. If you can hear me properly, please raise your hand. Okay, good. That's nice that you can hear me in this session. Okay, so we were talking about SQL, Structured Query Language, and we started some of the topic, and I'm going to continue my lecture which I was giving in my face-to-face class. First I'll give you an overview, and then I'll continue the content we were left with. So we talked about data definition structures. I told you that about domain types in SQL, which were character, variable character, integer, small integer, numeric, etc. And then I told you that you can create a table using create table construct, in which you have to specify the name of the relation, the name of attributes, and its domain. Then I told you that you can use you can add integrity constraints in create table structure, and you can define the primary key and foreign key as well. Then I told you that when you are defining your table and you create your table, after creation you can drop table by deleting the table and its contents, and you can delete the contents of the table, and you can alter your table as well by adding some more attributes, or you can drop some attributes as well. Then I told you that the basic query structure of SQL as a data manipulation language has the basic forms which consist of select, from, and where. So select clause is used to select attributes, from is used to specify the relation from which you want to perform action, and where clause is used to specify the predicates, like the conditions. The select clause selects the attributes on which you want to display as output, and then you can use where clause to specify that the conditions on the basis of which you want to select, and the from clause specifies the relations. It can be one relation, or it can be a Cartesian product of many relations as well. And then I told you that you can join two tables as well. You can use a join operation as well, and you can write it in using the select, from, and where clause very easily. You can perform natural join, and I gave you certain examples of natural join in my face-to-face class. So then I told you that you can rename as well. So some of the contents which we talk about now, I'm going to continue from the contents which were left. So these slides include only the contents which were left. So we have already covered this natural join and the example of natural join. The rename operation. So in SQL you can rename relations and attributes using the as clause. You can replace old name with a new name. For example, you want to select ID name and salary divided by 12. So salary was the annual salary. So if you divide salary by 12, it becomes monthly salary. So you want to name salary divided by 12 as monthly salary. So you can replace old name, that is salary divided by 12, with a new name, that is monthly salary, and you can use it in all the other operations. Similarly, to find the name of all instructors who have a higher salary than some instructors in computer science, so what you can do is you can select distinct t.name from instructor as t. So you are using instructors as t, some of the instructors as t, and instructor as s, some of the instructors are s. So the t.s, some instructors have higher salary than the other instructors, and those instructors are having less salary are because I have specified s.salary. So s.salaries are the instructors who are salaries of the instructors who are from computer science. So s.department name is equal to computer science. So you can use even the use of keyword as is optional and can be omitted as well. Like instead of writing instructor as t, you can write instructor t. Now look at this, that you can perform certain string operations. You can perform certain string operations using certain constructs over the relations. Some of the operators are like you can use comparison operator as well, but some of the operators are used for comparison of character strings. The operator like uses patterns that are described using. I have not enabled your chat permissions. Okay, so you can tell me if there's any problem. So SQL includes a string matching operator for comparison on character strings. The operator like uses patterns that are described using two special characters, percentage and underscore. The percentage symbol matches any substring. The users, you can see that you want to find the name of all instructors whose name includes the substring var. So any instructor name which contains var in it, whether at the beginning, whether at the end, or whether in the middle. So you want to display all the names containing that var strings in the instructor name space. So to do this, what you do is select name from instructor where name is like percentage symbol dr percentage symbol. So you have written dr in this way. Or you can match the string hundreds at percentage symbol. So you can write like 100 and escape sequence percentage symbol. Now this escape sequence is used to differentiate from this number, and because this also uses a remainder operator as well. And underscore character matches any character. Let's see the example of this. Patterns are case sensitive if you're writing patterns, so be careful about capital and small letters. These are some examples of pattern matching. Intro percentage symbol matches any string beginning with intro. Percentage symbol comp percentage matches any string containing comp as substring. Underscore matches any string of exactly 3 characters. And underscore percentage symbol matches any string of at least 3 characters. So just wait for a minute. Okay, I'm back. So underscore thrice and percentage symbol matches any string of at least 3 characters. There are many other string operations as well which SQL supports, which are concatenation or conversion from upper to lower case, or finding string length, or extracting substrings. You can order the display of tuples as well. Like for example, you want to display the names of all instructors in alphabetical order, or you want to display names in some other order. So what you can do is you can use the order by clause. Like select distinct name from instructor and order by name. And you may be knowing by now that what does distinct mean. That if the name is appearing twice, you have to display it only once. Like for example, 6 tuples contain the same name, then you have to display it in result only once. If you are not writing distinct, or if you are writing all, so it means you are going to display all names even they are getting repeated. So you write order by name, and we may specify DESC for descending order or ASC for ascending order for each attribute, and ascending order is the default. So ascending is from smallest to largest. Like if you are sorting it out in this way, like A is appearing first and Z is appearing at the end, so this is ascending order. So you can do order by name and descending as well, and you can sort on multiple attributes, order by department name and name. So both of the strings will be matched and it will be sorted in both ways. the where clause predicates, SQL includes a between comparison operator. For example, find the name of all instructors with salary between 90,000 and 100,000. So it is just like greater than or equal to 90,000 and less than or equal to. So this is a between clause is used. So is used instead of using the comparison operators in this way. So you can write it like this, like select name from instructor where salary between 90,000 and 100,000. Or you can make comparison of tuples as well in this way, like select name and course ID from instructor and teachers both tables where instructor ID comma department name, like instructor ID and the department name of instructor. Instructor ID is equal to teacher's ID and department name is biology. The biology department and instructor ID is matching the teacher's ID, so you can select in this way as well. In relations with duplicates, SQL define how many copies of tuples appear in the results. So if there are duplicates, you can set that how many copies you want to display. So multi-set variants of some of the relational algebraic operators give multi-set relations R1 and R2, and these are the operators. For example, in this one, if there are C1 copies of tuple T1 in R1 and T1 satisfies selection, then there are C1 copies of T1 in the result. Suppose a multi-set relation R1 and R2 are as follows. So this is R1, 1A, 2A, and this is R2. Then this projection of B, R1 would be AA, while projection of B in R1 cross R2 would be A2, A3, 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 and A3, because A is appearing twice over here, so you'll repeat it with all the attributes over there. So SQL developer semantics will be select A1, A2 up to AN from R1 up to AM, where P is the predicate. So you can write set operations like which you have written already in relational algebra in this way, like find course that ran in fall 2009 and or in spring 2010. So you can write select course ID from section where semester equal to fall and year equal to 2009, union select course ID from section where semester equal to spring and year equal to 2000. So by using the union, you are combining the results of this and this. Find the course that ran in fall 2009 and so you can use intersection to combine the results of both. And if you want to find the courses that ran in 2009 but not in spring 10, so you can use this except keyword. Set operations union, intersect, and except can be used, and to retain all duplicates, you can use the corresponding multi-set variants like union all, intersect all, or except all. It is possible for tuples to have null values denoted by null for some of their attributes. Null signifies an unknown value or that a value does not exist. The result of any arithmetic expression involving null is null. For example, 5 plus null will result in null. The predicate is null can be used to check for null values. For example, find all instructors whose salary is null. So you can use select name from instructor where salary is null. So is null is the predicate which can be used for this purpose. Any comparison with null returns unknown. So you should be aware of this, like if you are using even the operators with null, the result will be unknown. As you can see the examples over here. Now the aggregate functions can also be used when you are writing your queries in SQL. These functions operate on the multi-set of values or a column of a relation or a return of a value. For example, you can find the average value, you can find the minimum value from any attribute of a relation, maximum value, sum of values, or you can count the number of values as well. For example, you want to find a average salary of instructors in computer science department. You can select average of salary from instructor where department name equal to computer science. You can find the total number of instructors who teaches the course in spring 10th semester. So what you will do is you will do select count of distinct ID from teaches where semester is this and year is this. You can find the number of tuples in course relation by select count static because you are going to count all from course. So these are the different ways in which your aggregate functions help you out in getting your results. You can find the average salary of instructor in each department. So department name and average salary. So because you want to know that in which department, what is the average salary, so that's why we are selecting department name as well and average salary from instructor, and you group by department name. So even if they are appearing at different locations, so if this was a table, then this will be the resultant table. Like first from biology department, and for computer science department, all the instructors will be identified, and then their salaries will be, the average will be calculated. Even if the paper length is too large, even then for this the result will be split in this way. Yes, hi girls, just joined. Okay. I would suggest that if you are not able to enter in class on time, you should report on Blackboard support as well that you are not able to, because you are missing your lecture in this way. So if the problem persisting, then you should report it that there's a problem with your Blackboard account. Attributes in select clause outside of aggregate function must appear in group by list. So if you don't want them to be part of this, so if you're writing in this way, like select department name, ID, average salary from instructor, and group by department name, this will be, and initially you should write it in this way, like for example, find the names and average salaries of all departments whose average salary is greater than 42,000. Now you group by department, and then you see that having average salary greater than 42,000. So you are first calculating the average salaries. So what would happen is that the predicates in having clause will be applied after the formation of groups, where the predicates in where clause are applied before forming the groups. So if you write it where, if you write where, then before forming groups it will be checked. But now you have specified having clause, so first it will be grouped by, average salary will be calculated, and after that, from the results, the having salary greater than 42,000, that only those results will be displayed where the average salary is greater than 42,000. You can total all salaries by select sum of salary from instructor. So the above statement ignores null amount. SQL provides a mechanism for the nesting of subqueries. A subquery is a select from where expression that is nested within another query. So you can perform nesting of queries as well. For example, find courses offered in fall 2009 and in spring 2010. So you can do it like this, like select distinct course ID from in section where semester is equal to fall and year equal to 2009, and course ID in. Now you can see that this is the subquery. The first you are selecting the courses which are offered in spring 2010, and when they are identified, then you check that whether they are also satisfying the conditions of semester equal to fall and year 2009. Or you can write, if you want to know that you want to find courses offered in fall 2009 but not in spring 10, so you can specify not in. This actually simplifies your or make you avoid duplication of work. So this is another example of nesting. Find names of instructor with salary greater than that of some instructor in biology department. So when you are using some, it means at least once, at least one. So you can use some clause like in this way, like select name from instructor where salary is greater than some instructors of biology department. So this is the comparison with some you can use. So you can use some clause in this way, like 5 is less than some. Here 5 is less than some. So 5 is equal to some is true. 5 is not equal to some is true. Or you can use all clause this way, like find the names of all instructors whose salary is greater than the salary of all instructors in biology department. So this is the nesting. When you identify the salary of all instructors from biology department, then you see that all instructors identify the salaries which is greater than all salaries of all instructors of biology department. So you can use all clause in this way for this. So if you are doing comparison of all with the relation, so 5 is less than all, it will be false. This is not less than all. This is true here because 5 is less than all, 6 and 10 both less than both. 5 is equal to all, this is false because 5 is equal to 5 but not here. 5 is not equal to all, this is true because 5 is not equal to 4 and 5 is not equal to 6. Now, to test for empty relations, that which of the relations are empty, you can use the exist construct. It returns the value true if the argument subquery is non-empty. And you can use exist and you can use non-exist. Another way of specifying the query, find all courses taught in both fall 2009 and in spring 2009 is to by using the correlation variable. So you can also perform nesting of queries as well, and you can check its existence through the exist queries as well. So these are some more examples. As I told you that you can identify the distinct values using the distinct keyword. The unique construct test whether a subquery has any duplicate tables in its results. So to test it for subquery, you can use the unique clause. You can write subqueries in from clause as well, which is a combination of in from clause as well. You can specify the complete query, because when you are writing a query, it results in a relation, and that relation can also be used in the from clause. So you can write it using the lateral clause as well. Lateral clause permits later part of the from clause after the lateral keyword to access correlation variables from the earlier part. So this is not a standard. This is not supported by some databases. So we try to be as simple as possible when you are writing your query. The with clause provides a way of defining a temporary view whose definition is available only to the query in which the with clause occurs. Like find all departments with maximum budget. With maximum budget of value as students, can you hear me? Hello, students, can you hear me? Okay, there was some interruption because of which my Blackboard connection got lost. Okay, so where were we? We were talking about with clause. Okay, so with clause provides a way of defining a temporary view whose definition is available only to the query in which the with clause occurs. So this with clause, the things defined through with clause, will be available only to the query in which it is being used. You can write complex queries with clause as well. So it is very useful for writing complex queries and is supported by many durable systems with minor syntax variations. So sometimes you may be interested to find all departments where the total salary is greater than the average of the total salary of all departments. So you can write complex queries in this way. So the thing is, you have to be careful. You should practice on different queries a lot, and you'll learn to write queries only if you practice a lot. And one query can be written in multiple ways. Scalar subquery is one which is used where a single value is expected. For example, select department name, select count from instructor. Like we are going to count from instructors where department name equal to instructor.department name as num instructors. Now you are using the result as num instructor, the new name, from department name. Or select name, you want to get only the one value. So if you are going to get result, you want to get a single value, not a relation. So that if the query is returning, most of the time the query returns a relation. But if you expect a single scalar value instead of a relation, this is called scalar query or scalar subquery. You perform modification of the databases using by doing deletion of tuples, insertion of new tuples, and updation of values in some tuples. You can delete all instructors by delete from instructor. You can delete all instructors from the finance department by using the delete clause, delete from instructor where department equal to finance. So all the instructors with the department name equal to finance will be deleted. So you can delete the attributes and you can delete some of the values of that attribute or complete attribute as well, or complete relation as well. Or you can use delete from all instructors whose salary is less than the average salary of instructor. So you can do it as well. So you can perform different operations and you have to be careful that and you have to select that which clause you have to use, and you have to be careful while using it, because if you're writing correct query, you are doing it as concisely and accurately as possible. Your results will be as concise and accurate. So writing good queries is also an art. So and it requires a lot of practice. So when you'll practice writing different queries, so you can display results and you can write correct queries in a very efficient way. And so the correction of query and efficiency of query is very important, that how efficiently, how quickly it is getting the results, required results, how much storage space it is taking, how much calculation it requires, and how accurately it is giving the user or displaying the information. So that is important. Similarly, you can perform insertion as well. Like once you have created a table, you want to add some values in it, so you can insert into students, so certain values can be inserted. And you can perform updates as well. Like you can write update statements update instructor, set salary equal to salary multiplied by 1.53, where salary is greater than. So you want to increase salary by 3%, or you want to give 5% raise, so you can give them. So it's, and also the order is important. Like if you are writing, the sequence is important. That's how you are going to use them. And you can use write the same query using the case statement as well, like you are familiar with the case statement in programming. So when the salary is equal to case, you can write it just like set salary equal to case when salary is less than 100,000, then salary multiplied by 1.05, else salary multiplied by 1.03, and you can write in this way as well. There are different formats for writing. This is another example of you can perform updates with scalar subqueries as well. So scalar subqueries are displaying some results which also can also be updated. So you have to read this too. So that's all about the different operations which can be performed with SQL from my side. Now my lecture ends here. If you have any question, you can ask me now. Okay. Listeners, thank you very much. My lecture ends here. If you have any question about this lecture or about previous lecture or about any assignment or anything, you can just type in your question in the chat panel. I am turning the recording and my microphone off. So if you find any question, you can just type in and I'll answer you over there. Thank you very much for being here.